Well, I think what we really want to drill down on her when we're talking about Dr. Yan's paper, and again, I am not a scientist, but I think I'm a reasonable, thoughtful person who's been following this from day one. And one of the things that we can all understand is that there is a genetic record of a virus. So we can look at the virus in January, compare it to the virus in August, and we can see little genetic mutations that have occurred naturally as the virus replicates itself in the host. The thing which makes this virus so strange for science is that it is perfectly adapted to the human host. The S1 receptor, which is the first half of the spike protein, is almost perfectly adapted to human cells. And it's not just the lung cells, it would be your kidneys, it would be your heart, it would be across the board. Now, if this had occurred in a natural recombination in nature, then we would see similar patterns within the various portions of this virus in terms of the way that they genetically evolved. In this case, we don't see any comparative genetic examples of this. For example, there are certain parts of it that are 100% or very close to 100% like coronaviruses in nature. And then there are other parts that are unlike any coronavirus in nature or appear to be a combination between two subsets of coronaviruses. Something for, and if it had occurred in nature at some point in the past or even in the recent past, we would still see a kind of convergence of the genetics inside that virus. We don't see that here. I think it is something that definitely people have to look into. These two cleavage sites that seem particular to this virus seem to indicate that there's an ability to swap out sections of the spike protein to test for various things, communicability, etc. And as Dr. Yan has always said, the likelihood is that there are dozens of strains very similar to COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2, as it should be properly called, that are obviously also in these laboratories. And this is why so often we describe Chinese science as a Pandora's box and why it is so dangerous for the planet in this unregulated fashion. I think the example of the brucellosis outbreak that we spoke about earlier is a perfect example. And it was interesting because I reached out to the wonderful Dr. Yan and sent her the article, and she immediately responded, and I thought it was interesting. She said, "This is proof of the Chinese Chinese government trying to scam us."